Hallelujah. We are here an hour and 10 minutes late, and this is my fault this time.
Way to own up to it.
I always own up to it if I'm late or if I fuck something up. I have nothing to gain by blaming somebody else, except this was totally Mark's fault.
Obviously, it was Mark. I saw him the whole time. He was just showing me the cord that you needed. He was waving it in front of the camera.
Just had a rough week. This is not what I fucking needed to deal with today.
Cool. We don't want to hear about it either. So
all over his carpet, though. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, who are you dogs, Rick?
LB, Lauren, her awesome dog Bodie, collie mixed with a husky mixed with a German shepherd. Beautiful dog.
Better Meadow, obviously.
And then a red healer, who's the devil version of Khaleesi. She's 6 months old. She just got spayed though, so that's good. But she also came with liquid diarrhea. So he's like, "Can you babysit my dog?" Sure, I'll babysit your kind of potty trained dog that actually has diarrhea now, that has the puppy squirts. She literally shit I live on the 5th floor, took the stairs down to take him for a walk in this morning. She shit in the 3rd stairwell on the way down, so the entire place still smells like dog poop. It was like nightmare.
That's rough, dude.
No pun intended.
Well, pun kind of intended. Anyways, football's back. That's a plus, right?
Boston Scott. Just heard
Boston Scott like 12 times since you've got on this chat, and I have no idea why.
Well, that's because my guy, Miles Sanders, didn't fly to Washington to play with the team. So Boston Scott's the guy.
But he's not good.
Yeah, he has these little scat sproles.
Scat, we're talking poop again?
Yep. Can't get poop off the mind. A poop boy.
All of my bets.
Odell Beckham.
Chiefs just demolished the Texans, and I'm here for that.
Why were they booing equality?
Who boos unity?
Was that? Oh, it was unity. Well,
it wasn't even equality. They didn't
for equality.
They weren't there. They weren't out there for the anthem, so it didn't have anything to do with like the troops or anything bullshit like that. It just everybody got together and they locked arms and they called it unity, and these idiots started booing it.
Boo! They linked their arms.
Unity.
Yag.
But there's a Venn diagram there that is interesting to explore, because it's a circle here. It's people who would go to a football game during a fucking pandemic when you're not supposed to be in large crowds, and then racist idiots, and then they just like overlap perfectly. Like who? It's just so infuriating.
Kansas City, Missouri.
Like JJ Watt. Okay, he's kind of a boner. Say what you want about the guy, but he does nothing but great things for the city of Houston, for first responders, for veterans and troops, and they're booing this guy. Like, what the fuck? And he's white. The one thing that they hate about every other player is that they're not white. What is wrong with these idiots?
Plus, he also has that dope-ass picture of his bloody nose when he's walking off the football field in the playoffs. You remember that picture?
Oh, yeah. Because didn't he like headbutt somebody or some shit?
I think it was just because he was going so hard. His helmet went down and just kept brushing on his nose like a bunch of times. Just finally, started making it bleed, and it just became Bamf. Biggest Bamf picture of all time. I put it in the group, if you can do that.
Isn't it weird that, like, if you get your ass kicked and you're all bloody, you look like more of a badass?
Yeah, it's insane.
Mark, what's your poop story?
I didn't have a poop story. Well,
you have a child.
Solid foods, and his poop is literally just like reusable sweet potatoes, just mashed up.
Didn't need to hear that.
Okay. You asked for it.
I mean, I get. You know what?
You literally said, "What's your poop story?"
That's on me. My poop story.
Wow, really owning it up.
This morning, and decided he was going to go roll around in his own shit in the backyard. So that was fun.
When just had knees and he was going crazy.
I have no idea. So when I get up in the morning, I have to get Max too. So I'm taking care of Max, and I just let him outside, thinking he's not stupid enough to roll around in his own shit. Boy, was I in for a surprise.
Remy probably figured out they'll never lock me up again, so I could do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, except he got a bath at 8 a.m. today, like an idiot.
Does he not like baths?
Oh, he hates baths.
That guy like anything? Rolling around in poop.
Yeah, he loves rolling around in shit. Yeah. He likes jumping on people and punching you in the dick. So there's that.
Sounds like that 4D experience that I went to last week.
I guess if I sat down on the floor, he'd probably walk up behind me and like breathe in my ear or some shit.
Oh, like the kid from Hey Arnold. Mark, by the way, where are these energy levels? They're trash. Also, you need to use some diction because you're either mumble fucking the mic right now or the mic is being wonky.
Me?
No, Mark. I just had to treat him real quick.
Yeah, I'm just exhausted from that what just took place trying to set this shit up. But
you mean you sitting there and watching while I tried to set shit up?
Back.
Mark did a whole Google search to try and fix everything. So
he was literally being the guy. Hey, did you look that up or did you do it this way? You got to do it this way. Just sitting on the ass the whole time. Someone's got to do it though.
Boop. Boop.
You guys at least watch these trailers?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Why is Dune better than Star Wars already?
Amazing. 1,000.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and cape for Star Wars. This does look pretty good. I don't know shit about Dune, admittedly. Like, I've started reading about it this week just because the trailer came out. Rick, it's got your boy Timothy Chalamet font.
Yo, yeah.
AKA
Honestly,
Timothy Chalamet.
There you go. I wasn't sure if you said it right or wrong because then I just went with it because I could never tell.
Very clearly, just you can't be bothered to remember an actor's name regardless of how many Oscars he wins.
Yeah, he's the man. Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah,
Timothy Oliphant's the man. The cowboy.
We got some giant space buttholes.
Yeah, the giant space butthole tremor.
You know, if
imagine.
You back and forth away from that mic while you talk, it's gonna keep changing. Okay.
Hey, don't knock him. He's trying to get the energy up. I like it.
There's no way it's not a sand butthole, right? I know a sand butthole when I see one.
We've been talking shit a lot.
Very scat heavy.
We can't stop with this cat. What kind of shit does it come out of both ends? I gotta stop.
Who knows? Anyways, this trailer looks pretty dope. It is. And I used to call him Denis Villeneuve, and it's Denis Villeneuve.
He did Blade Runner 2048 or whatever the fuck.
2049, and he did a great job directing that. He's a fucking awesome director.
Done a bunch of other good shit.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. So I'm totally here for that part of it. The cast is ridiculous. So we've got, like you said, Dave Bautista, a mustache and beardless Jason Momoa, which I did not expect. Josh Brolin, Oscar Isaac. You got a Hans Zimmer cover of a Pink Floyd song in the background. I was just kind of excited that they didn't recycle an old song and have like little kids singing it. You know, that was the rage for however long.
Like Radiohead when Social Network did it.
Yes. That might have been the movie that kicked it off, actually. And then ever since then, like every other trailer is a creepy rendition of a classic rock song.
That was a very appealing trailer though for Social Network. I don't know if you guys remember that when that song was playing and in walks what's his face. He's like Mark, and then it just cuts to black.
That would be how much different do you think that trailer and movie would hit now, knowing what we know about Facebook?
A little bit.
I haven't gone back and watched it actually. I kind of want to go back and watch it now that you mention it.
I mean, it's a pretty good movie. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg is great.
JT, dude.
Pre-Spider-Man. You got the Winklevoss twins.
Winklevosses,
yeah.
Anyway, back to Dune. The calligraphy alone makes me think this is going to be a top 3 movie for me this year. The way the Dune, the way they spelled it out, it's all the same shape. But you can I love that.
It's like very Arrival-y.
I don't know that he did. I will look that up. But do either of you have any interest in going to watch the 80s movie or reading the book?
No, I'm going in fresh.
Same shit for Mad Max. I'm not going to go back and watch the one with
Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense. Yeah, he did Arrival. I didn't know that. So Cool. Yeah, I mean, he's a hell of a director, and the cinematography alone, and it wasn't just him that worked on Blade Runner. It was him and Roger Deakins, who is probably the most prolific cinematographer doing it right now. I don't know who's doing this one, but it looks fucking insane, super over the top. Can't wait.
It's going to be better than the last 3 Star Wars movies.
I mean,
absolutely.
I feel like you're trying to get me to argue with you about that, and I'm not going to.
So you admit it then?
Well, yeah, I mean, if this is a good movie, then yeah, it's going to be better than the last 3 Star Wars movies because those were just pretty mediocre.
What about the first 3? What about all the Star Wars entire collection?
What about every movie ever? Is this going to be better than every movie ever?
I said top 3 movies for me this year.
In a year where we get the fewest movies of all time.
Good call by me.
All right. This is supposed to be coming December 18th. Who the fuck knows? So that'd be a week before Christmas. December's already gonna be jam-packed with blockbusters because they just pushed Wonder Woman back. We'll get to that later. James Bond is supposed to come out in December. There's a lot of shit that's supposed to come out around there. I would be really surprised if they let this come out then.
I don't know. I think at the same time you think they're afraid of releasing it with Wonder Woman?
I think that not everyone will go to see a movie every week like we do. So people are on budgets or they don't have the time and shit like that. So if you release 5 blockbusters in the same month, like July, it's okay because most kids aren't in school and they got nothing to do anyways.
Yeah.
December's a little different because it's cold out. Nobody has anything else to do.
But we also have that sci-fi want for a December sci-fi movie from all the fans. Like December was Star Wars.
Okay, so if you can only see 2 between Wonder Woman, James Bond, and Dune, which ones are you going to go see?
Wonder Woman and Dune.
Okay, so you got to make a choice though. If they push it to like January or February, those are notoriously shitty movie months.
No.
I think that DC is going to get, or Warner Brothers, I guess, is going to get desperate to finally release Wonder Woman and make some money back on that. I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about Monsterland. We talked a little bit last week about the shit that's going to come out in the next month and a half, just like super spooky Halloween shit.
Ooh.
This is interesting. It's based on stories from Nathan Bullengrud's North American Lake Monsters is a book. It tells 8 stories about how monsters can live among us. So this is created, written, and produced by Mary Laws, who's known for working on Succession, which I know you love.
Yeah, love that show.
And Preacher, which I was very lukewarm on at best.
I didn't see Preacher.
It's fine. But it is produced by a studio by the name of Annapurna, and you would recognize a lot of their work. They did Hustlers, Vice, Bad Batch, Ballad of Buster Scruggs. They do a lot of really weird shit. I feel like that's their specialty. It's kind of like A24, but not so much horror-y.
Was Bad Batch with Momoa?
Yes, okay. It was Jason Momoa and Jim Carrey.
That was a weird one.
It was a very weird movie. I didn't like it very much.
Buster Scruggs was wonky too because it had that same. I feel like it has that same dark vibe. It's just like a story within a time period that kind of has a very eerie feel to it. Remember the third one where like the traveling circus guy with like the puppet. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I mean, are we surprised that a guy by the name of Buster Scruggs is putting out weird movies?
That was the name of the character in the movie. Yeah. We are a movie podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Buster Scruggs, barely heard of him.
Who the fuck names their kid Buster Scruggs?
Someone in the Old West, I guess. I don't know. Who names their kid Mark? I don't know. This could be interesting, but
one of the girls in the trailer was wearing a University of Chicago Booth Law School whatever sweatshirt. So maybe one of the settings will be in Chicago.
Could be. Speaking of Star Wars, Kelly Marie Tran shows up in there. There's some mid-level actors. I don't know. This is straight to Hulu type thing, so I don't think it's a budget busting huge production, but
it's an anthology, and I like that. It's like an anthology of folklore and myth for like October. I'm into it.
Coming October 2nd.
My prediction is that this is going to be one of those super slow burns where they're going to want you to stick around until the 7th or 8th episode to actually like present spooky shit.
It's an anthology, so each episode is individual from itself. So
They could loosely relate, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I would think that they would want to release like the best episode first and get you hooked. Like comedians talk about how your second best joke is first and your best joke goes last because you want to keep people listening. They stay in the middle, and presumably you're going to have your best one last. So
yeah, the attention grabber, obviously.
Exactly. Brick, when I saw the trailer for Save Yourselves, for some reason it made me think of you. It just seems like this is something that you would be interested in.
I wasn't opposed to it. It's like it was very Sundancey film. You know, it was like these hipsters go out to the woods because they want to get a week away without their phone and no technology, and all of a sudden like an actual comet hits and there's a space invasion. There's like figuring themselves out at like later. So there were some funny moments. It's quirky comedy, I think. I don't know.
That was John Cena's daughter from Blockers, wasn't it?
Yes, and I actually like her. She's in a couple of other things, honestly.
She's got comedic timing. Like she's funny, so that could very much be it. You pretty much hit it on the head though. Like they want to unplug and basically come to find out that they're in the middle of an alien invasion.
Sunita Mani is in this movie. She was in Glow.
Oh,
I don't know.
One of the wrestlers in Glow too. That's what we were just talking about while you weren't paying attention because she was John Cena's daughter in Blockers.
I've never seen Blockers, so I wouldn't know.
Great. I don't know.
The male lead seems new. I don't know what he's from.
He had an Indian wife.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of the male lead. He was pretty interesting too. I've never seen him. I haven't seen him much though. I don't know where he's from.
He looks a little too hipster for my liking, but I don't know. Maybe he's good. Maybe I'm just stereotyping.
Playing a hipster, yeah. Well, they're going to a cabin just get away from technology. They're a little hipster.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they definitely were like, "Hey, let's find someone
Let's free ourselves."
And has a hipster mustache."
Yep.
And that was the casting call. Mark,
he looks like Joaquin Phoenix from Her.
A little bit.
I think he looks exactly like him with
blonde hair.
He didn't have a mustache though, did he?
He did.
He did?
Yeah, he did, I think.
That was a weird movie. Like, hey, I want to fuck this phone. Who writes that? Oh,
Someone
shit.
who wants to fuck their phone.
Hey,
what's up, Ord?
Fuck this phone.
Ord and Amber are here. Hello. Thanks for tuning in. So let's talk. Mark, I think this is probably going to be the Oscar winner for this year, and it's called Hubie Halloween. As Netflix continues to back up the Brinks truck for Adam Sandler, they're just printing his money. He has something like a 12-movie deal just because every movie he does turns out to be their most watched content. And I don't know how. Doesn't matter, I guess.
Did you see the last one with Jennifer Aniston? Was it her?
Yes, it was Murder Mystery, right?
Yeah, that was great. I like that one.
It was fine.
I heard it was pretty good,
especially for a Netflix movie, it was totally like run of the mill. I can get behind this, sure. If I paid $15 for it, then I'd be pissed. But I didn't. So let's talk Hubie Halloween, though. So the synopsis for this is Adam Sandler busts out his probably slightly problematic accents where he just plays like a mentally challenged person. He's really good.
He just talks funny. Yeah.
So he plays Hubie Dubois, who thanklessly spends every Halloween making sure that the residents of Salem, so at least they have a spooky setting, it's in Salem, they're celebrating safely and obeying all the rules in town for Halloween. This year, however, an escaped criminal is on the loose, and he's got a weird neighbor that he's keeping an eye on, and he's trying to get the police. It's kind of like a Boy Who Cried Wolf situation where he calls them about everything, and it's I didn't even recognize Kevin James because he just is in like a full prosthetic beard and mustache.
Yeah.
And Kenan Thompson is the other police officer. So they don't believe him, and he's going to keep trying to convince them. I will say, Adam Sandler did promise that if he didn't win an Oscar for Uncut Gems, that he was going to make the worst movies of all time. This one certainly has that potential.
I think you might be right.
Brick, what do you think?
I am here for it. I don't care. Just silly, goofy. I just need more Kevin James. I haven't had Kevin James in a while. I liked him in that
Here
actor.
Comes the Boom. I actually like that movie.
He's the teacher and he goes into UFC.
Exactly. He can't make ends meet being a teacher, and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll just become a UFC fighter."
Did you guys know? Well, so Adam Sandler movies, I appreciate that he always kind of brings back the same people, just like Christopher Nolan. There's always the same actors in it.
Yep.
But with Adam Sandler, I really appreciate it this time around because he brought in Julia Bowen, who is Victoria or Virginia from Happy Gilmore. That's
yeah.
I haven't
Forgot
seen
about
her.
that.
More famous, more people would probably recognize her
Modern
now.
Family.
Modern Family. She's the
Claire.
Modern Family.
Okay.
We also have Michael Chiklis in this. If you were a fan of The Shield, Steve Buscemi, Rob Schneider, Maya Rudolph, Tim Meadows. Shaq was in the trailer for some reason.
Well, he was in Grown Ups 2 or whatever, wasn't he?
Man, I skipped those movies so hard.
I know he made an appearance, so now we just could bring him back. That's awesome.
It's weird though because Adam Sandler's like usually just making these movies on a tropical island, and instead he's in Virginia just shooting a weird Halloween movie for Netflix. They must have seriously paid him like $10 million to do this.
Was Schneider in Uncut Gems?
No.
Are you sure they didn't just throw him in there in some moment where we just didn't catch it?
He definitely could have been a background actor. Maybe it was two Rob Schneiders on top of each other pretending to be Kevin Garnett, but I don't think I saw him in there.
Adam Sandler's just done so many movies with Rob Schneider in it at some point.
Well, Brick, you listened to the interview that Pardon My Take did with him a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
He's basically talking about how it's just better to work with your friends because they know what to expect from, what they can
They know
expect.
what's funny.
Makes
Yeah.
all the sense in the world, especially if your friends are all funny as fuck. Like Rob Schneider is, I could take him or leave him, but he has had his moments where he's really funny.
Yeah.
Sandlerverse. I like that.
The Netflix Sandlerverse. Oh boy. All right. Sad news. Brick.
Board.
Can you eulogize Dianna Rigg, who is, in my eyes, most famous for being Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones?
Are you googly?
You googly. I you know what? I almost said that, and I was like, what if they don't get that reference?
Yeah, no, you should have had a little drop for Ben Stiller in that one. Yeah, no, she was the biggest BAMF she was top BAMF, one of the top BAMFs in Game of Thrones, personally. And she was also in the Avengers. The way that she went out in Game of Thrones, I won't spoil it, but she just stealth kills the worst, biggest baddie in Game of Thrones history, maybe. He was most hated character of all time.
Yeah. Not just in Game of Thrones. Like, he's one of the most hateable characters of all time. Him and Skylar White from Breaking Bad is the absolute worst. But yeah.
Rounded up at the top three. Who's the third? Worst character of all time.
Boy. I mean, Homelander's making a push.
Ooh, he's very not likable. Let's save that for later. He plays a good not likable guy. But that's I actually hated Skylar. She was the worst of all time. Mark, you got one?
Pretty fucking horrible too.
I don't think that was her fault though. She was a subject to her terrible upbringing.
She was just overly emotional and just.
She's a bad, ugly crier. So.
What about Seven from Umbrella Academy? She just ruins the world a bunch of times. Literally.
I don't like her, but I also don't really hate her the way that I hated.
You're right. Fair.
We're just saying all female characters right now.
Yeah, that's not
we said Homelander.
Okay.
Scar.
I thought you meant Homeland. She's terrible too.
Nice stretch.
The blonde girl, whatever her name.
Now that I'm looking at your shirt, Frieza's an all-time hateable character.
Yeah,
I love Frieza. He's the man.
What? Of course you would side with him.
Oh, I think said Vegeta. I'm sorry.
You'd be the guy who's like, Hitler makes some good points.
No, I just Vegeta is what I thought you said. You said Frieza though. No.
Vegeta's the man. Frieza sucks.
Vegeta's the man. Yeah.
By the way, I found an article that I think it was on CBR this week talking about a subreddit where people basically just turned Dragon Ball Z into a D&D tabletop game, we 100% need to play that.
Okay, I'm for it.
Kamehameha!
In DBZ, right?
I need to do a real deep dive into it and figure out, the mechanics and all that shit, because wouldn't basically everybody just be a barbarian? You're just massively
Not Krillin.
Yeah, I guess. But he's got the Destructo disc.
Not Master Roshi.
Have some
There's
creativity,
no
dude.
mages or anything.
Not Bulma. You'd have to.
Who the fuck is going to play that game and be Bulma?
Bulma can basically tell whatever those fucking guys. Bulma can push around Vegeta or Goku or whatever. She gets her way with whatever she wants.
They
Charisma.
really take strong women in that TV show. Like
Yeah.
Chi-Chi bullies the fuck out of
Chi-Chi
Goku.
too. Yeah. I think Bulma has a one up on Chi-Chi. She, whatever Bulma says, even when like Beerus comes and she's just like, no. He's like, oh, okay.
I'm the destroyer of worlds, but
Yeah.
if you give me a mean look, I'll do what you say. So, okay. Mark, we mentioned this earlier, but how many more times can Wonder Woman really be delayed?
As many times as you think it can. So they'll probably delay it one more time. I think it's going to come out in January.
I wonder if this will be the first, like, January, February, March, the first Q1 where we have movies that don't actually suck.
I think it might be.
Oh God, there's the goob. Oh God, he's staring at me.
Uber goobs.
Okay. I think it's okay that they keep delaying this because it's not set current day, right? You're going to come in and kick over my camera and shit. But like the decision to set this in 1984 lends itself to the fact that it could just be delayed indefinitely and not matter.
Mhm.
The only problem is that they just aren't making money off of it like they want to, because they put a lot of cash in the outlay.
Yeah.
But
I saw this little video on, I think it was Twitter or it was Instagram, where this little girl was on the beach and she was like trying to make a heart in the sand, but the waves kept erasing it. And so she moved 2 steps forward, try it again, it erase it again. And then it was just, the meme was people trying to release movies this week. Yeah, botch. Verbal meme.
nailed it.
Botched a verbal meme.
Nailed it. Yeah, I worry that maybe this won't be the case, but I worry that people will just lose interest because they're gonna have to keep releasing more trailers and everything and showing more footage. And ooh, that's a good looking cookie.
Cowboy cookie.
Which weed is in that cookie, Brick?
1,000.
1,000 weeds. Got it. Brick, we got this week the new prices and specs for 2 Xbox systems. Are you going to be the early adopter that goes out and gets this on its release date?
0%. Next question.
How much is it? 600?
There is a 500 version and a 300 version. The $300 version is significantly weaker.
Yeah.
And that's not, most people don't have TVs that can take full advantage of the new Xbox anyways, because it is full 8K and it claims 120 or 60 frames per second at 120 hertz. I don't know if that's going to be the case. The dumbed down, cheaper version doesn't have a disk drive. They're really just trying to get rid of physical media and make people buy their own games, not being able to share them and shit. Not
Game share. It's perfect.
You get, that's 2 people though. Like I could lend somebody a physical copy of something. I could lend that to as many people as I wanted to.
How many times have you lent a game to somebody since the last system you owned?
Wubby has my Spider-Man right now.
So one game.
I mean, I could lend anybody any of my games though. That's not the point. It's people do still do it.
Right. But if you game share with somebody, my friend was like, yo, I just bought PGA Tour 21. I was like, sick. I just bought Avengers. He's like, sick. You get free games all the time.
Okay, so
I just game share with somebody. Mark, are you game sharing?
Yeah, game share with Zahos.
Game shares with Zahos.
so you can only do it with one person though, right?
Yeah.
I don't get what you're saying. You can just lend like Spider-Man. Isn't the whole thing with the disc? You can download it once and it recognizes once you put the disc in, like you can't keep using this.
For as long as he has the disc, he can play the game.
That with online then?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How are you confused by a disc game? Have you played
you
any
put it
video
in your
games
console
ever?
But never mind. The catch is you can't play Spider-Man.
I can't play Spider-Man
Okay.
right now until
I'm
he gives me
thinking
the game.
multiplayer because the point of game sharing with Call of Duty is I buy the game, I can still play I buy it online, I can still play, and then Zahos could play it too at the same time. We could play together. So yeah, I guess you buy the physical copy, but you're not going to be able to play if you lend it to your friend.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
But I think I'm more on the PS5 anyways. I don't remember the last time I turned my Xbox on, to be perfectly honest with you.
That's why I'm not getting an Xbox, because I have a PC. What's the point?
Well, they do have originals still, and they will come out before whatever, like Halo will come out on Xbox before it comes to PC. That's just
when
what
Halo
they do.
comes out, I'll get an Xbox. I'll get a Halo Edition Xbox.
They delayed it anyway, so.
The whole point is playing with your friends that don't want to build a PC, that just don't care about it. They don't know.
Most of it's going to be
just like, okay, I just want to play Call of Duty with my friends.
Most of it's cross-play anyway.
I saw a dog behind you. Is he pooping right now? I will say, though, you were getting roasted in one of the Discord servers for not building your own PC and buying pre-built.
Oh, yeah. No, you were just egging it on, and I couldn't care less. I was like, I got a computer. Someone make it for me. Someone smarter than me make it for me. Thank you. Come again.
Yeah, so Ord's in the chat, and he's talking about he likes to have physical copies of games too. I do, because I usually play through them once and trade them in. Like, I've been grinding my ass off to try and get through The Last of Us 2. The game is so fucking long.
Yeah.
Rick, did you finish it?
I tried playing it. I was playing with Starkey. We were doing where I would go to his house and play it, and we just kind of switch off and game. Well, we take the story in together. Also, you don't have to play the whole time. You can kind of be like, yeah, you take over for this, and try and beat parts together. It's actually one of those games are fun to play. I couldn't get past though.
Like elementary school thing.
I know, like, yeah, you're the
you
little brother.
Indian style in his living room. His mom comes in with pizza rolls. You're just like, yeah, let's go.
That actually sounds dope.
Doesn't that sound dope? Hell yeah, let's go.
I'd totally come play video games with you if Kelly brought us pizza rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, though, like in Last of Us, they take. I'm sure everybody who wants to play this game has played it by now, but they take a complete diversion mid-story and give you a completely different viewpoint from a different character, and it's very jarring. Not a huge fan of that, but I have to finish this game. I don't know how we ended up here. Did you guys see that CancelNetflix was trending on Twitter earlier this week?
Yeah.
So the story is
I'm opting out of the story. I'm opting out of the story. You talk to Mark about it. I don't care.
Okay, we'll just kick you out of the stream. They are doing something pretty shady, which is basically just sexualizing young kids.
Yeah.
It's a French movie that's called Cuties that they bought the rights to. This movie was directed and produced outside of their purview, and they bought it because it did really well at Sundance. Apparently, if you've actually seen the movie, which I haven't, and most people who are criticizing it have not, it's kind of a girl from Senegal who comes to France and is like, she's enamored with the dancing culture and she wants to join this dance crew. And it's her story and all this shit. But there are senators and shit tweeting the Department of Justice like, hey, we need to investigate Netflix for this, because they're basically calling them all pedophiles, but there's no way they've seen this movie yet. They just, granted, Netflix made a very over-sexualized poster for this movie and put it everywhere.
Yeah, their marketing team definitely fucked up.
That is not a good look.
At the same time, I did see the clips that everyone is up in arms about. They're pretty fucking bad.
Really? I haven't watched that.
I saw a news story, and they even blurred out parts because they're up they're up on stage, and like they're all 11-year-old girls. And at the same time, I'm thinking like, okay, you have people that are arguing like, well, you don't get the, like, there's a meaning behind this whole story, and that like it's trying to say that these are what young children, young girls are faced with, on TV and through social media, and they think this is what they have to aspire to be, and like all this sexualization. But at the same time, it's like, who is this story for?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to sit down with your 11-year-old daughter and be like, yeah, just don't do this? Like, it's uncalled for. It's like they're trying to push the line of like, how sexualized can we make these scenes with little children before we go too far? And I think they went too far. It was just fucking weird, and I'm like, this is unnecessary. Like,
but that's not on Netflix.
No, but at the same time, it's like
they shouldn't be supporting it if what you're saying is true. And like I said, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of the clips. I don't really intend to. This movie clearly is not for us, regardless of what you think of it.
Yeah.
But French people are weird. French movies are weird.
And another argument was like, well, Europeans think differently of.
Yeah, that still doesn't make it okay.
Like, okay. And then some people were saying like it was a coming of age story of this 11-year-old trying to defy her mother, who is like very religious. I think she's like South African or something like that. I don't know, but
from Senegal.
At the same time, I'm like, dude, she's fucking 11 years old.
That's fucked.
She doesn't get to make choices yet. She's 11. It's like,
I guess the problem that I have with it is, shouldn't we be more concerned with like these child beauty pageants and shit, like real life stuff instead of a movie?
I think there's you could have done this in a different way. You could have talked about this issue in a different way, and it was just like, this is, in my eyes, unnecessary, and I don't want to see this shit. And it's like, whatever.
Okay, that's fair. Brick, you're done sitting out now?
No, but I'm with you. Like, remember those HBO, was it an HBO show, or the moms that would push their girls to do these little pageants? That was fucking
Erica
really
loves
weird.
a show called Dance Moms, and I think it's the worst people on the planet. Like, they are horrible people. They're awful to their children. They're mean to each other, and it's all just because they want their kids to win like dance contest. Like, what the fuck?
You need to dance. Start tap dancing, Sarah. You're never gonna be better than your mom, Sarah.
After the Always Sunny episode where Danny DeVito is like talking about, oh, we're definitely not diddling kids. Like, that's probably where we should have been like, we should have taken a step back and been like, this is really fucked up thing to do to kids. We probably should stop this. So that's really all I have to say about this. I don't, like I said, I didn't see this. I didn't watch any of the clips because frankly, I'm not interested in it.
You shouldn't be interested.
I thought it was interesting. The whole story is interesting, not the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
So Ord's in the chat and he says, it won a Sundance and the guy who runs the Sundance got arrested for child porn. Holy fuck, if that's true.
Is that true? Oh my god.
Yeah,
I didn't know that shit.
Yeah.
That's just like,
that's
wow.
a bad look.
That's very
Was he the same guy who spilled gravy on his computer and then got arrested for child porn because when he went to take it into IT, they found kitty pictures on there?
Oh god.
He spilled gravy on his computer. What a fat idiot.
Yeah, I have zero empathy for those people that get caught with shit like that. That's the most atrocious thing you can fucking do.
Dumbest, worst people ever.
Let's change the subject, shall we?
Move on. Best.
We the best!
Worst.
The worst! She's the worst person in the world. Huge, skank, terrible, but thank you.
I have to, even though Remy pissed me off so badly this morning, I just have to show you how adorable he is right now. You see this?
That's a good boy.
Bastard curled up here. He's so cute. I hate it.
He's dreaming about tomorrow morning where he's gonna run and swim in his shit again.
Oh my god. And I freaked out because, like, I told Erica, I'm not going to let him back outside today unless I'm out there with him. And she forgot and let him out. I was like, what the fuck? Like, if he's out rolling around and shit again, I'm going to lose my mind. But anyways, worst dog alive, but also best dog alive.
At least he doesn't eat the poop, right?
Not that I've ever seen.
That's the most awkward. I don't go to dog parks anymore because I'm not in Chicago, but the most awkward encounters is when you'd be at a dog park and there was always that one dog that would just fucking gobble up some poop of another dog. And you're just standing there just like, what?
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, there are dog parks
gobbler.
around here, but I'm not trying to have my dog eat other dogs' poo. Anyways, Brick, you've been out for a while, or been silent for a while, I guess I should say. Who's your best man alive?
I'm going to go worst woman alive. This woman, she was found guilty of fraud because she sawed off her own hand with a circular saw to try and get workers' compensation forever. So her boyfriend also got arrested because he purposely left the hand behind so that she would get workers' comp, not for until the time that her hand would heal, but so that she didn't have a hand anymore. This
Wait,
was in
so she
Slovenia.
wanted to get her hand put back on? That was their plan? Did they like keep it on ice?
No, apparently they did get the hand back and they did save it in time, but I guess it just came out that they tried to. It was all planned to lose her hand to get workers' comp for life.
I want to take a different stab at this from a different point of view. Think about the dedication you have to not. You hate work so much that you're willing to cut your fucking hand off, and not just make a cut in your arm or something.
Saw type shit. Like,
think about it. Like to take a circular saw and fully cut your hand off. You have to really commit to that. Like you can't immediately pull away when you cut yourself.
Dude, I would at least like spent the time to go to a fucking pawn shop, bought a samurai sword, and been like, okay, a swift, clean hack, just take my hand off, and it's done. Like sawing your fucking hand off, that's pretty brutal.
Did you say a comic book store, samurai sword, thrift store? Where'd you get the samurai sword?
A pawn shop.
A pawn shop samurai sword. I don't know if that's gonna cut you clean. I would probably do the circular saw. I don't know. That's very movie-esque of you. Let me get a samurai sword and cut off my hand, you psycho.
What do you mean? Are you saying the sword they would sell in a pawn shop wouldn't be sharp enough?
Probably would. It could very well be not very sharp.
Then you test it out. You like cut something. Yeah.
You just get a whetstone.
Or you don't buy it.
You get a whetstone and you sharpen that blade until it's sharp enough to cut your hand off.
Disrespect to the pawn shop owners that are listening. Disrespect.
First, he starts off worst woman alive, being sexist. Now he's talking shit about pawn shop owners. What the fuck? Okay.
Why? Can you imagine what the guy said to get his girlfriend? What if the boyfriend was behind the whole thing? Just like, why would you want to only get workers' comp for 3 months when you can cut off your whole hand and get it forever? She's like, that's a brilliant idea. Let me cut off my entire hand.
What was her story gonna be?
My left hand is useless. Who would want a left hand?
What was her story going to be about the hand getting chopped off?
That it was cut off while cutting branches. She claimed that it happened while she cut branches. So
like you probably can't give me this insight, but was her plan like, did she do it on site of the job site? Like, was she around work? Because I feel like they would have caught her if she went home, chopped her hand off, and came back. They'd be like, no, there was somebody there that said you had your hand when you left.
The boyfriend. And so they basically said that they intentionally left the severed hand behind rather than bringing it themselves to ensure the disability was permanent.
Okay, I get it now. Okay. Smart people, obviously.
Prosecutors said the woman's boyfriend also made internet searches about artificial hands in days beforehand.
That's the best when they just like, all right, they're investigating. It's not even like the FBI. It's probably the people in the union. They're like, okay, well, we gotta see if this workman's comp thing is we can actually push this through. Let us just check your Google search. First thing that pops up, it's like artificial hands.
Artificial hands. Artificial hand job. Is it that bad?
Wait, and then you search artificial hand jobs?
No, I made that up.
He's like, well, if my girlfriend's not going to have a hand anymore, then...
Yeah, there's robot hands about.
Did I hear something about hand jobs? Is that what I just walked into?
Bricks said that they...
Siberian robot.
They found that they Google searched days before artificial hands.
Wow, that's definitely not incriminating at all. All right, Mark, who's your best man alive?
So I got to give it to... Where's Dude Ass's name? I got to continue reading. David Klein. Okay. So they started hiding golden style tickets. I believe this is the founder of Jelly Belly. They're going across America. They're hiding these golden tickets. And I thought at first I read the headline. It's not as cool. The headline says hosting online treasure hunt. Winner gets candy factory. You don't get a candy.
It's not Jelly Belly.
Yeah, it is. Jelly Belly. Oh, it's not.
He is the founder of Jelly Belly, but the factory they're giving away, like he was one of the people who started it, but he doesn't still own a stake in Jelly Belly.
Oh, damn. Well, that sucks even more. Are they giving away a factory? It sounds like they're like doing some like look into like how candy's made.
It does sound that way.
And flying them out somewhere.
I remember reading the story and then I was listening to somebody else talk about it, and there was like some shady shit going on. People are basically investigating this now because he made claims that he can't possibly back up.
He said he's going to give them Jelly Bellies for life when realistically it's just the licorice and popcorn flavor ones. Just like, get fucked. Get fucked.
That's the worst thing, too, is like, I guarantee you, like, free pizza for a year. And it's like, okay, you read the fine print, and it's like one pizza a week. That's not free pizza for a year. That's 52 pizzas. Just say 52 pizzas.
Yeah.
52 pizzas.
Or it's like the Nathan Fielder pizza. That's just like a little smallest piece of pizza ever. It's like an inch by an inch.
Dude, I miss Nathan For You so much. That was one of my favorite show. Dumb Starbucks.
All timer.
So fucking funny.
Poop flavored ice cream.
Oh my
dude,
God.
he's a fucking comedic genius.
Oh my
The rebate that was on top of a mountain
yeah.
was my all-time favorite.
There's like with the people that come in and he's like interviewing. He's like, "You want a beer?" He was like, there was one episode he was just trying to be the ultimate bro, and he just opens his mini fridge. He's like, "Why don't you just crack one with me?" And the guy's like, "I don't need a beer right now." He like slicked his hair back. He has his polo collar pop.
It was for that boutique so the women can shop while the guys are in the man cave. He just put like general like men stuff in like the back room. That was great.
I just don't understand how you can keep a straight face through all of that. Oh, you know what I forgot to put in the news? Speaking of that, Borat Sacha Baron Cohen has already shot Borat 2, and he's already screening it for people in Hollywood.
Saw that.
Yeah, Borat's made it big.
Something like that.
Because Borat's made it big.
On set. Well, somebody took a picture of him driving.
Him driving, right?
Yeah.
I saw that video and I was just like, oh, that's just a dude who looks like Borat. Like, it's not.
He's a master of disguise.
He really is, man. That guy, I swear, man, he's so fucking dedicated to his craft. He's gonna rub someone the wrong way and he's gonna end up dead at the bottom of a fucking lake.
Probably.
He's such a psycho.
Well,
right, back to it. What's the worst Jelly Belly flavor?
Black licorice.
It's got to be black licorice, right?
Yeah.
Butter was a nightmare.
Butter is
popcorn.
really bad.
They did like coffee bean, I think, and then fucking.
Some psychos would like that if it gave you caffeine, but also there's like the Harry Potter beans were also bad because were the Harry Potter or were they just like
There were Harry Potter ones. With,
there was like garbage and trash. Yeah, that was the one.
Oh,
the
yeah.
ones.
The Weasley brothers.
But they'd mix them with like real good flavors, like Juicy Fruity or whatever the fuck it's called, Tutti Fruity.
Definitely Juicy Fruity.
My fave.
All right. I have a worst man alive, and I need you guys to be completely honest with me and cut me off if I'm rambling or if you just think nobody gives a shit. And I know this is exactly what he wants, but Skip Bayless can eat a fucking garbage truck full of dicks.
I saw he mentioned something political. Did he? He did.
That's my quarterback.
And I know that like everything that he does is to garner attention, so I'm giving him what he wants by doing that. But I think that it's so harmful, the things that he talks about and the things that he argues. So what happened is earlier this week, Dak Prescott, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, came out and said, I was struggling with depression. You know, his brother killed himself earlier this year. So obviously that's a pretty good reason to be depressed. Everybody goes into lockdown for shit like that. And Skip Bayless on his fucking dumbass show that nobody watches anymore, but everybody sees clips of because that's what he wants. He wants the clickbait shit. He came out and he said, I don't have sympathy for this person. You're supposed to be the leader of America's team, quote unquote, the Dallas Cowboys, which I don't think that even applies anymore. When did they stop? They stopped being America's team like 25 years ago.
Texas just claims
as if that had anything to do with this. But he was basically saying, like, you need to continue to shove this down because you're supposed to be a leader of a team that everyone loves. And it infuriated me. Like, as someone who has had mental health issues in the past and basically just shoved it all down because that's what people thought you were supposed to do, it's the most fucking harmful thing that you can possibly do with any kind of issues that you're having. And when athletes come out and can actually be role models for stuff like this, like Kevin Love has done a lot of work with this, and for him to come out and admit like, hey, you know, I'm a very wealthy person, I'm extremely successful, but I'm still struggling with this, took a lot of balls.
Did he like specifically, I'm not trying to back him up or anything, that's fucking tasteless. It's like, dude, we made progress in this part of like people's everyday struggles with depression. That's just some tasteless shit. But did he actually like go back and say like Dak Prescott shouldn't be doing this? I don't care about his, like, did he mention his depression and like the reason why he's not going back? Or
his argument was basically that he should have kept it to himself instead of coming out and saying,
okay,
like, I was struggling with this, which
so it wasn't like
sense.
He didn't know why he was coming back, and then the depression thing came out after he did this clip. He knew he was depressed and like how his brother died and everything.
Well, he was basically just talking about the things that he was struggling with, like after his brother's suicide and being in lockdown and everything, and not being able to get out and work out and stuff. And I think that Skip Bayless was just like, oh, you can't work out, like you can't get better at football. That's the only thing in the world that fucking matters. And I know that Skip Bayless has always been a piece of shit. No one is going to debate you on that. It's just, this is so intentionally harmful. We've come so far as a society in like when you need help, you can go get help, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. And for him to come out and say shit like this for a platform where unfortunately he has a lot of followers, it's super harmful. And I was deeply offended by it. And like I said, he can just eat all the dicks in the world. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's old. He is looking more and more like a ghoul every day.
It's
a ghoul.
It is. And he's just like this rash of stupid old white guys who are so set in their ways. Like we talked about it with Thom Brenneman and all this dumb shit. He came out earlier or later last week and was like, I've never used that word before in my life. The sexual slur that starts with an F. Yeah, dude, I'm sure that you went 60 years without ever using that word, and this was the very first time you ever dropped it.
Early.
You fucking douchebag.
Whoopsie.
Okay.
Next.
I feel now.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I'm gonna go back and watch it. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody posted like the Skip Bayless clip, but half the time I'm just like, I don't even want to listen to this guy right now.
I know, and he does it with shit. Like
he thinks he's so smart and just like sniffs his own.
He's really not, and it sucks that what we've been reduced to is saying something so outlandish, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, that you're getting attention that way, and that's how you get paid.
Yeah,
and that's what's super unfortunate about this, because if you sat him down and got a couple beers in him, he would probably admit that that's not really how he feels. Maybe he is just that big of a piece of shit, and maybe that is how he feels, but I severely doubt it. So
I wonder when ESPN's going to kind of switch up
He's on Fox Sports now.
Or he's Fox Sports?
Yeah.
Sports? Yeah.
He has a show with Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp kind of does it too, but he's just not nearly as bad as Skip Bayless. But at least Shannon Sharp's funny. He's smoking cigars and shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a funny dude.
I will shut up about this now. So let's move on. We're going to talk Bill and Ted first. Sure. So Brick, you openly admitted that you did not watch this. I honestly can't blame you.
Do the boys first.
You want to do the boys first?
Yes.
Okay. So you last week came on and said that you were very upset that they did not release everything all at once. Can you elaborate?
The more that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of digging it, because now we can do bonus episodes for the boys as maybe some bonus content each episode every week. We could do a little preview here. This could be a little teaser, and then we can do bonus episodes on spoilers when we actually, as they come out weekly, as a little bonus content for our patron followers.
We could do that. Let's get some of the bullshit out of the way. So this is, I mean, we've talked about the boys in the past. Season 2 dropped last Friday. They did the first 3 episodes. Yesterday, they dropped the 4th episode, and what they're going to do is for the rest of the season, which is 8 episodes, they'll release them every Friday. This is a show that is based on a comic book written by Garth Ennis. By all accounts, the comic book is not great. I haven't read it, so I can't really speak to that. I'm just relaying what I've heard. But that's okay, because the TV show is amazing. So amazing, in fact, that The Boys Season 2 currently is at 98% on Rotten Tomatoes with 80% fans. My sister, who is a couple years older than me, texted me last night and was like, hey, would I like The Boys? and I said, I think you would love it if you can get past the
heads
gratuitous gore.
exploding.
And about 15 minutes, she texted me and she was like, "Oh, you were really serious about the gore," because she started watching the first episode when A-Train runs through somebody and just the person explodes.
Oh, first 4 minutes of the movie or the show.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gotten worse in season 2. That last episode where they revert back to like the 70s or whatever, where that one old
Liberty.
superhero where she punched that guy in the face and they showed his head.
Yeah, the close-up was probably not necessary.
God,
Gruesome.
I do want to say, though, since a lot of people are still watching this, we're going to do our best to not spoil it. You didn't spoil it there. You got close, but you didn't.
Shit like that happens.
Yeah. So, I guess, Brick, I want to start with you. What are your initial thoughts on season 2 of The Boys? We're 50% of the way through. Where do you stand with it?
Give me all of it. Give me more immediately. I'm in as before. What I just said. I can't even talk right now. That's how flustered I am about how much I like it. I'm a big fan. Honestly, back to my notes. If anyone could be Denzel Washington's son, it would be Mother's Milk. He sounds just like Denzel Washington, does he not?
Yeah, he kind of does. His name, the actor's name is Laz Alonso, Mother's Milk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's great in this.
He's
and
awesome.
I think it's because he's so balanced. Like, he's kind of crazy, but he's not Billy Butcher crazy.
He's OCD, is what they kind of show a little bit later. Like he needs things to be particular because he needs to control things. And I like that stability in a character in this wild kind of world that we're put in here. Homelander also needs a Got Milk commercial.
In the episode we got yesterday, you get kind of a look into his background, which was very ambiguous before. So I thought it was really interesting to finally figure something out. I hope we get something similar for Frenchie.
Yes. I want to know why is his name Mother's Milk? And what's with the milk in this show?
Marvin Milk.
Okay.
The character's name is Marvin Milk. I don't know why they call him Mother's Milk. It could have something to do with Homelander and why that's creepy. I don't know. Maybe Garth Ennis just really loves milk.
There's a lot of sexualization of milk in this show.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me that milk. Sorry.
Mark, what are your thoughts thus far on the first half of The Boys season 2?
I think season 2 is great. It's hard to say it's better than season 1, but man, it's so good right now. And what frustrates me is all my friends that come to me and be like, "Hey, I just started watching The Boys. It's all right. It's pretty good." I'm just like, it's fucking great, dude. And you know it's great.
No, you're wrong. It's just better than you think.
You're just mad because it's not a Netflix show and you just figure out about it because it's on Amazon Prime. Well, guess what? It's fucking one of the best shows out there right now.
Sneaky.
It's my second favorite show of last year, and that's only because Watchmen came out.
Yeah. And what I really like about this is they're just completely unexpected. Whoever the writers are, like, especially with Stormfront. You get a look at Stormfront, and I just immediately thought I knew who this chick was going to be right off the bat. Super progressive, all for the cause right now. That's not the case. And there's theories out there right now as to why she's not that way. And if she put on this facade just to kind of trick people, that's fucking genius. It's genius. You guys don't know what I'm talking about. If you're not caught up, I don't want to spoil it. But Stormfront is a character I'm just like, wow, they did this really well. If it
fits the climate.
Yeah.
And if you've been paying attention, you watch the first season and you see a character that comes in named Stormfront, you kind of get an idea of what that person is about. Also,
I didn't at first because I saw her and I'm just like, there's no way. Just the way she looks.
It's a nice little aha moment when you think, you're like, oh, nice. I get it.
Yeah, Brick, you watch some of You're the Worst, right?
Yeah.
She is basically her character in that, Gretchen. She is that character if Gretchen had superpowers, where she just like doesn't give a fuck about anybody. It's so perfect. I'm so glad that she's just like reprising that role. I love Aya Cash in this role.
Great. She's great. Big fan.
I read an interview with a guy who plays Homelander. His name is Tony something. He's actually from New Zealand, which I never would have pegged. He has
0%
a spot-on American accent. He's so great in this. He is the most hateable piece of shit, and it's brilliantly done because
Anthony Starr.
he's got. Oh, thank you, Tony. I think he goes by Tony Starr,
Tony
but
Starr,
whatever.
Yeah.
He's so good at just being the most despicable, vile piece of shit. This egomaniacal,
Smug.
bastard.
I can't get over his facial expressions. If you watch him in a scene and he is just threatening somebody, like where he's not necessarily saying things that are threatening, but you know in like the back of your mind, like he's just fucking with them mentally, and you see his facial expression, you're just like, oh my god, this dude is evil to the core.
You know what I think is his best attribute is that he's got the lip quiver down.
Yeah.
Where either he's really upset and like somebody tells him he can't have something and he's so not used to that he's just like so angry staring off in the distance and his lip quivers. It's perfect. This role could not have been cast better.
Do you have a slight bit of sympathy for the Deep at all in this season? After what he did in season 1 was fucking terrible.
No.
But I don't either. I don't think they're trying to make us feel sympathy for him.
No.
But
they're basically poking fun at a character's redemption arc.
Yeah.
Which this is a glorious like introspective probably on what I think superheroes would actually be like if they were alive in our society today.
They think they're invincible with whatever they do.
Of course. And they would have to have like a social media imprint and all this other shit. I do want to point out, we have a very good comment in the chat from Comics Misexplained. Sometimes I wonder what happened to the Adam type character that dove into a vagina.
You fucking forgot about that.
That was an episode in season 1 where basically they go to this, I guess it's a club where superheroes hang out. It's a guy who can shrink and he just like sprints into a woman's crotch.
It was a giant sex party club.
Some say he's still down there and you can hear him cheer to this very day. Thank you for the comment. That's brilliantly done.
Fucking classic.
I do want to ask, there was a reveal about a character who is new to this season called Liberty. I think that it's a misdirect. And without spoiling it, I wanted to get your guys' opinion because there are presumably some people who are caught up through the first 4 episodes. I don't think they would make a reveal like that so early into the season without having some kind of misdirect surrounding it. What do you think, Mark?
I think I think it is a misdirect, but it is I basically think Stormfront is her child.
Okay.
Which is a misdirect, but at the same time, she's still related to her.
Okay. There were some things that were said that make me disagree with that, but Brick, I want to get your thoughts.
I literally fell right into the trap of the boys, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe she ages based off of the serum that they kind of bring up. I don't know. Give me a pass on this. I can't think of anything.
I just think it's too early to have a bombshell like that. It's too obvious. It doesn't, something about it doesn't add up.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about that.
She could have been like her Robin. They haven't really done a sidekick thing yet.
That's true.
I think if you want to have a superhero story, you have to some extent, have a sidekick at some point in the whole arc.
You know what else I thought was hilarious is they brought in a character named Blind Spot, who was a blind person. Did you read
that fucking scene?
That was brutal. But did you read the Charles Soule run on Daredevil like in the last 3 years where Daredevil's sidekick was named Blind Spot and he was a blind guy? Yeah, I don't know, it's just weird confluence of events, but
that was so gruesome.
So let's talk about Billy Butcher. He's taken a little bit of a different approach this season, I think. He's not necessarily the leader anymore. I feel like he's almost been usurped by Huey, or just even the group of the other 3 guys of Frenchie and Mother's Milk, and I guess Kamiko too, even though she doesn't really say anything. What do you think going forward Butcher's role is going to be in this? Is he still going to try and be the leader or what? Brick, I'll kick this to you.
He's the absolute wild card is what you need. He went from being the leader because he was the most determined to being the biggest loose cannon that there is, and so people are starting to realize maybe this isn't really worth the shit that we're going through. So he's just going to remain being the wild card and might even turn into the heel.
Okay. Yeah, he did some very heel things in this last episode, so that is definitely possible. Mark, what do you think?
I think so. Right now, Huey is kind of taking the front of the whole group. Eventually, I think Huey's going to make a decision where Annie is impacted, and his decision is based on kind of maybe saving her, or doing something for her more than the whole team. So I think that is going to be a point where everyone's like, "Fuck off, Huey," kind of thing, and then led by Billy Butcher calling him out for it, and then he'll kind of take that backseat on the team, and Billy will have his number one role again. But yeah, Huey is in the front right now for sure.
I really enjoy the way that Huey is, like, he was thrust into this kind of against his will, but not really, and now he has to try and pretend to be somebody who he very clearly is not, and he's trying to embrace that, and he just gets knocked down a peg every time that he tries to be a tough guy. It's really well done.
He listens to some really questionable 80s music.
He loves.
Oof.
Is that Billy Joel?
I don't know who that was.
I think it's Billy Joel.
Like one-hit wonders.
No, I'm pretty sure those are all Billy Joel songs.
Like Aha and Don't Fade Away.
Yeah, it's bad. But I will say though that the overall music choices in the show in these episodes is pretty well done.
Yes.
Just most of it is well done. So at this point, I think I will open it up to you guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Brick, anything else?
Black Noir is playing a very good creeper. I like how mysterious he is. He's you don't know whose side he's on, really. I mean, you kind of can. You just don't know what's going on with him. I like the mystery behind that character.
I love that, and the fact that in season 1 he kicked that guy off the piano and was just like, "I'm going to play a concerto right now."
Exactly. He's a wild. You don't know what's going to happen with Black Noir. I like it. I like his character.
Yeah, he has a very brutal scene in the opening of season 2 too. It's pretty cool. Mark, what else have you noticed?
I think we have to talk about the son a little bit.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to be a huge turning point in this show. That's the way I think they're going to set it. They're setting it up right now because who's going to take down Homelander? Who's going to step up to him?
So I wonder about this show. Like, it's obviously massively successful. Do you think they'll do the Game of Thrones thing where they go off comic books or off book or whatever and just kind of keep it going just because they know that they have a hit on their hands? Like, are they going to do the Walking Dead thing where they just keep going?
I think they will. I mean, how many seasons do they technically have left of the comics to run this out for?
No clue. Couldn't even begin to speculate.
So I think the show is definitely one that's going to be in the 5-season ballpark.
Okay.
I think it should.
There is definitely a sweet spot for that. You know, like too many seasons, eventually you jump the shark.
Yeah.
I personally don't know when that's going to happen. Like, I would watch this fucked up stuff for as long as they'll show it.
And you also have the whole universe thing. You open this up to so many different possibilities for spin-offs too, you know?
I think they did a very good job of kind of introducing a larger threat in season 1. And they could do a million different things. They could be like, oh, look, it's aliens and we all have to unite. And like, it could be anything like that. So yeah, I agree with you. This is something where I think that I'll just watch it for as long as they make it.
With you.
Brick, any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, let me get a recommendation in there. The Avengers.
Game?
Are you playing on an Xbox or are you playing on PS4?
Or what? Who are
I'm
you
getting a recommendation in before
the mic in front of you when realistically it's just attached to your head.
Yeah, no, I was just leaning in to you guys. That's how I'm leaning in.
I appreciate that.
Have you played
I haven't bought it yet. I'm going to finish Last of Us, and then I'm going to go trade that in and I'll buy it on PS4.
Bummer. Who are you going to play with?
Gotta have Spider-Man.
So what? You can play as Spider-Man if you have the PS4 content?
Yep.
That's what it is? It's kind of cool.
It's shady as fuck. No doubt about it, but it is.
I'll tell you what. You're going to be disappointed with the Spider-Man combat because it's just not as good as Spider-Man combat was. It's a little chonkier. It's a little more button mashier.
I've heard the fighting mechanics for Avengers overall is just meh.
It's fun.
Spider-Man and Arkham games.
It's fun, but it's not as like, as, I guess, free form as Batman and Spider-Man. They have a little more slow-mo kind of stuff you can do because they have a lot of online play. Online play is pretty fun. Either way, Xbox, it's actually fun. I like it. I'm ripping with Terry Greenbeans. Story's good.
I assume you're about to log off then because we're not done.
Yeah.
Taking off.
All right, dude. Thanks for hopping on.
Tell your friend I say hi.
All right. Yeah, boy. We got my brother.
It is.
All right, Mark, we can finish this episode because you and I actually did watch Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Excellent, man. We stayed excellent.
Excellent. I want to start this off. Have you seen the first two movies?
I rewatched the first one the other day. I did see the first one at some point in my life. I don't remember when, but it wasn't clear to me what happened. So I rewatched number one. I did not see number two, but after seeing Face the Music, I understood it fully.
There's really not much to understand.
Well, they had a lot of callbacks to season one. I mean, you wouldn't know who the wives were until they repeatedly say where they're from.
That's true. You wouldn't know death. You wouldn't understand why George Carlin shows up. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I'll give you that. But this is technically the sequel to Bogus Journey, which came out in 1991. So it's weird that we have a sequel 30 years later.
Yeah. Especially since the first one came out in 85.
That's a great question. I don't have that in front of me. But
6 years, I mean, that's not that long for a sequel.
We can get some of the bullshit out of the way if you want to look that up. Currently at 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, 75% from fans. I think that's pretty generous, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
It's fine. And that's probably both the kindest and meanest thing that I can say about it.
Pushing it a little bit.
So this is directed by a guy named Dean Parasot and written by Chris Matheson and Ed Solomon. Like we said, this is the third Bill and Ted movie. Basically, what happens is George Carlin comes back in time. We're going back to the original two movies now.
Okay.
Comes back in time and says, hey, you guys are basically charged with writing the single song that is going to unite all of humanity across all of time. I think that it's kind of an interesting take on time travel and what it does to you when you have a huge burden placed on you like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if George Carlin hadn't come back and told them that, they probably just would have kept writing music and maybe they would have stumbled across it eventually anyways.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Could be wrong. This is obviously Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves as Bill and Ted. This is kind of the role that put Keanu on the map, which is weird, but it did, like, the whole stigma of being a bro, just like, dude, like, that stuck with him for so long.
Yeah.
And it's weird to see him embrace this. And I don't know if it's just like he was bored one day and he was like, fuck it, I'll make another one. Or I don't know. Like, does Bill and Ted have a huge fan base?
It is weird because there are parts in this movie where he still has that voice where you could kind of hear a John Wick in the background, you know, and he'll say something. And then
I'm
you're just
thinking
like,
I'm back,
yeah,
dude.
Like, I'll fucking murder you. Just like, holy shit, that is John Wick still. But I fully agree. It's weird seeing him now, especially because that's who he was. And the Bill and Ted came out in 89. So yeah, they came out with one 2 years later, and we've waited 30 years for the next one.
Sure.
It's been a while. So yes, now watching it, it's a little bit weird, but they also did a pretty good job bringing in the whole daughter aspect. I did like that. I didn't think they took too much away from the story, and I think they actually gave a lot to the story as well. It wasn't like I was watching this and was kind of annoyed with seeing them. I felt like that was going to be the case, but it wasn't. I thought they did a good job, whoever those actors were. I know one of them was
Samara Weaving and Bridget Lundy Payne.
And Weaving is in a very underrated movie from 2019. She was in
Ready or Not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. She was the lead in that. Excellent. That was one of the most underrated movies of that year. The only really annoying character that I felt was in this was Kristen Shaw, and it's just because her voice for me is nails on a chalkboard. It's just that way. I mean, she's in Bob's Burgers. She was in 30 Rock. She's in a ton of shit. She was in Last Man on Earth. It's just her voice that drives me nuts.
I thought she was Flo for a long time, the progressive lady, and then I realized
That's funny.
that's not her.
No, it's very much not. That is funny though. What else did you like about this, or did you like anything about this? I guess I should say.
I really liked Anthony Kerrigan as Dennis Caleb McCoy. I thought that was some of the funniest shit.
Did you know that was him when you watched it?
No, I thought it was. I got to look this up real quick. I thought it was the guy from Game Night.
Oh, okay, the blonde guy.
The blonde guy.
Yeah, no, it's the bald guy. He's in Barry. He was Victor Zsasz in Gotham, wasn't he?
Yeah. I thought it was Billy Magnuson from Game Night. He kind of sounds like Billy Magnuson if
a little
you watch
bit, yeah.
any of his movies. But that was a good. That was another thing they brought in, and I'm just like, all right, this is like it's ridiculous. It's Bill and Ted, but I'm like, where's this going? And then it went there, and I'm like, all right, this is actually probably the funnier parts of this movie.
It is supremely stupid.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of Bill and Ted, you know that it's going to be supremely stupid. They're going to say dude and bro a lot. They don't say bro, I don't think, but they say dude and whoa. It's just this is a nostalgia grab.
Yes.
Nostalgic cash grab probably would be more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that stands out about this. It wasn't as funny as I hoped it would be.
It didn't really make sense, the ending.
It doesn't have to. That's the thing.
It doesn't, but it just didn't.
If you've seen the first two, you know that it's completely nonsensical, and it doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. You watch it for Keanu and Alex Winter, and it's just they're idiots.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
I like that they brought in these like historic, big musical figures like Jimi Hendrix is in it. Yeah, and Kitty Cudi, Louis Armstrong is in it. That was a cool thing, you know. Napoleon, that's great. Like they bring in those historical figures. I'm like, okay, but I like that they brought in all the musical people. Even though two of them, I have no idea. I think did they make those people? They didn't make up the one from China or Japan or wherever. Man,
I don't have any idea.
One of those ladies was a flute player from like 10 BC.
A flautist.
A flautist.
A flautist is the correct term for a flute player. I
don't know. It had its moments, kind of.
Yeah, but that's kind.
I don't know if I'm on the fence. I'm like, I don't want to say skip it. I'll give it a stream it. But if you haven't seen Bill and Ted and you don't really appreciate those movies, don't see this.
Yeah, and I don't know that they really got the audience that they were looking for, because the audience they're looking for is people that are like my age.
Yeah.
If you are my age, you remember a time where when you ordered a pizza from Pizza Hut, they sent you a DVD of Bill and Ted.
Did they?
Yes.
Shit.
And I still have that somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I was so enthralled by these movies. Just like, it's so dumb and pointless, but it's a turn your brain off type thing. There's a little bit of effects in there. Weird shit happens. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I did appreciate when they made Bill and Ted jacked in jail. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and they kind of ruined that in the trailer, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let it slide, I guess. This is a movie that came straight to streaming, so It is what it is.
Yeah, if you have a girlfriend or wife and she's never seen a Bill and Ted movie, don't sit down and start watching this with her. Don't go to the theaters and watch this. She's going to be like, is this what it's going to be the whole time? And you're going to have to be honest and tell her, yes.
Yeah, it's exactly
this is what it is.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a very throwaway movie. It entertained me for 90 minutes, which it's mercifully short. It's fine.
Did you ever work for like Domino's or Pizza Hut? I feel like one of your first jobs was a pizza delivery driver.
I was never a pizza delivery driver. I had a good friend who was. Yeah. So I would kind of just hang out with him and we'd drive around town every now and then. But
one of my first memories of ever getting ordering delivery pizza from when I remember is my cousin was a Domino's delivery driver, and this was when they released the Alfredo pizza.
Oh,
do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, I want that, Mom. And she like called my aunt, and they're like, oh, is Peter working right now? And she's like, yeah, he actually is. And we like requested that Peter come and deliver the pizza.
God, you're like the worst.
Just white families, right?
You're a male Karen.
Getting white families ordering Alfredo pizza and having your cousin Petey deliver it.
Jesus Christ. I think it's time we move on. Let's do.
We have a Pizza Hut if you want to get stuffed crust. That's the only thing they got going.
Their stuffed crust is delicious. I'm not gonna lie. I've eaten a stuffed crust or two in my life.
How much trans fat is in that pizza? I will eat it.
Dude, if you're ordering from Pizza Hut, trans fat is not what you're concerned about. And that's fine.
I know.
Let's do our recommendations for the week, though. Why don't you kick this off?
Oh, what do I want to recommend? Oh, man. Why don't you kick this off?
All right, I will kick this off. Our close personal friend, Lamorne Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Had a show that dropped on Hulu this week. I have not caught it yet, but I'm going to. Obviously, my time is a little scattered right now as I try to grind the fuck through The Last of Us and also have a child and a dog who rolls in shit all the time. I haven't started it yet, but basically, Lamorne plays a cartoon animator who likes to avoid politics, but eventually gets dragged into it. It is a very surreal type thing. Inanimate objects start talking to him and like, why aren't you more upset by this and shit like that. He as a person is just hilarious. He's a great comedic actor, and I'm very much looking forward to sitting down and checking this out on Hulu. So that is my recommendation for this week.
Trying to get this show. I feel like Erica's watched it already. Hold on, it will come up.
I can go back and answer some questions that you guys were asking me last week about High Score, the docuseries that's on Netflix about basically video games.
Oh, you kept watching it?
I have, and it gets better. They do a great deep dive into Nintendo versus Sega and like the console wars, like when Nintendo had a 98% market share.
Did they talk about Mortal Kombat?
That is actually the next episode that's coming because they're going to get into
Chi-Town repping.
They're going to get into big violence and things that started happening because originally it was just like Mario and Sonic and shit like that. And like, I remember personally when I came home with Mortal Kombat and somehow somebody passed the blood code along to me. It's ABACABB.
Oh, they didn't have blood in it before?
They did if you hit the code.
Or was it excess blood?
No.
Okay.
It's bloodless unless you hit it, unless you put in the blood code. And I remember Sub-Zero doing the uppercut and ripping the spine out. And if you didn't hit the blood code, there was zero blood coming off the spine. But if you hit the code, ABACABB,
what happened when you fell in the pit at the end?
On the spikes?
Yeah.
Blood everywhere.
But without it, nothing? A spike goes through
you? I was probably 7 or 8 when it came out. I had zero interest in playing that game without the blood code on.
Yeah.
So
me too.
Couldn't tell you.
Me too.
But
so this is an unexpected recommendation. Netflix just released a new show called Get Organized.
I thought you were gonna say Cuties.
No, absolutely not. It's called Get Organized. It's based off of this company out of Nashville, and they have this Instagram that blew up called The Home Edit. All they do is they're just these female entrepreneurs that started this company, and they just organize people's houses. Okay. So if you're super OCD like me, it's very satisfying to like watch these people go into other people's houses and completely redo like their closets and shit by like color. And it just gives you a little bit of motivation to be like, hey, I'm a piece of shit. I should probably go clean that right now. I think it's definitely a show where if you're into all those reality type,
well, this is who was the Asian woman who was doing her show that was like, this doesn't spark joy. You should get rid of it. You know what I'm talking about? It was a huge hit like a year ago, I want to say. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name, but
not Storage Wars.
No. This is very much like a person who is helping people get rid of clutter and organize their lives. So
I didn't see that.
I'm sure that anybody who's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about and is yelling into the screen.
Yeah, the first episode's with Reese Witherspoon, and they're like, she needs her closet organized, and she just has all of her shit from like Legally Blonde, and they're just like going through all of it. It's fine. I especially recommend this if you have a girlfriend that likes to keep clean or a wife that likes to keep clean. Okay. This will make her very happy, and it's kind of fun to watch to some extent.
I'm sure it's satisfying.
Yeah.
In the same way that like when you get Tetris in Tetris, like all the blocks disappear and shit. Like lately I've been thinking, because it's starting to get colder in Chicago, that I'm going to tear everything out of the basement and start like, I want to build a bar back there and basically like a mini studio and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically the next project, and we'll get there someday. But
yeah. And one thing I actually took away. So if you if you saw my like man cave, one thing I can't get over is like when people have, you're not bad. Like that's not ridiculous, but I hate, like I'm a statue collector. And if I see, like, let's take those DBZ figures, for example. If I see like a clear case, like I'm on these statue collecting Facebooks and I see people like posting their collections, and dude, they have them so crammed where it's like hundreds of statues in just a little case like this. And I'm just like, you got to let it breathe. And they talk about letting things breathe. And it's just like, oh, OCD is just calm right now.
The name of the organizer just came to me. Her name is Marie Kondo.
Okay.
She has a Netflix show. I'm sure everybody else out there is absolutely familiar with it. But
yeah.
Anyways, we've been going long, and it took me an hour to set this stream up. So let's end this. I promised you D&D last week, and unfortunately, we did not get to play. It sucks. Like D&D is, I love it so much, and I want to play it constantly. But it's so hard to get people on the same schedule and able to do shit. We've had to cancel because of me. We've had to cancel because of other people. I'm really hoping we're going to play this Tuesday at like 7:30. So
we have to cancel because of me. God damn it.
It sucks, but I just love it so much, and I can't wait to play again.
What do you have to do to make it up to Erica? Is there anything?
Make like, what up to Erica?
Letting you play this for 5 hours.
Oh, see, that's...
Is she like, okay, well...
So for example, I had my fantasy football draft last Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's a league where I've been with guys doing this for 10 years, and we always make sure that we can sit down and do it live, like whether it's on video or whatever else. And I told the guys, like, okay, I'm good to go. Erica's got the baby.
Yeah.
We're awesome. They're like, oh, you fucked up. I'm like, what are you like? No, I didn't fuck up. Like, we cover for each other. I covered for her while she was on a Zoom call with some of her friends yesterday from work.
Yeah.
For like 3 hours probably.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to do anything to make up for it because we just share duties.
Yeah. I'm not saying like Erica's like, oh, you got to do this now, but usually, yeah, you share duties. So it's like,
well, I cover for her. She covers for me. Yeah. Like, as long as it's not like, oh God, you're asking me to do this again. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we don't have that kind of relationship. Like, we're pretty open about it.
Yeah.
So
I just, when we play, well, now Kelly's been getting home from work and I just have to make sure dinner's ready. And then I just head upstairs and play some D&D.
There you go.
Yeah. You got to cover yourself.
It is like the one thing I look forward to during the actual work week, though.
Yeah.
Because I hate my job.
It is very fun, though.
It's so fun.
I didn't realize how
fucking
fun it was going to be.
So anyways, hopefully this Tuesday night around 7:30, we will be streaming our D&D campaign. So you can tune into that. You can find us on all social media platforms at the Chumpcast. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. Anything else you got, Mark?
No. Hit banner so we could hit that outro.
Perfect.
And actually do have one thing for our listeners. If you don't know what D&D was, do not forget that Smithers and I were in the same boat. And I was actually in the boat where I was like, are we really going to play this right now? And we got into it and it's really fun. If you're hesitant to jump in because we're so far along in our campaign, don't be. I honestly think you'll enjoy the content that we put out in our D&D.
I'm surprised to hear you say that you were hesitant to play D&D.
I was, because to some point you're just like, all right, how much of a nerd am I going to be? Just like,
see, this is the same. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as like the mental health aspect that I was getting on earlier. But if people are telling you like, no, you shouldn't be doing that because it makes you nerdy or whatever.
I'm telling me like you have enough stuff that you do to just satisfy your nerd crave.
You have enough.
You
fun.
buy enough statues.
Stop having fun.
You spend enough time going to comic book shops. You spend enough time reading those comics. You spend enough time playing video games. This is me telling myself, like, are you really going to do another fucking thing?
No, dude, live your best life. Be as happy as you can possibly be. Have as much fun as you possibly can. Fuck what everybody else says.
Yeah.
And that's where I will leave you. Until next time.
Chumps out, motherfuckers. Peace.